In today's video, we're going to talk about how to negotiate your salary in a job interview. Everyone hates that question. How much do you expect to get paid? What are your salary expectations? But hopefully today we can give you some tools, some tips, some techniques to deal with that question. The ideas I'm going to be talking about come from this book, Never Split the Difference, written by Chris Voss, who was the FBI's lead international hostage negotiator. So yeah, negotiate for your hostage, negotiate for your salary like an FBI international hostage negotiator. Let's get started. Our first tip is to give a range. Give a range when you are asked for salary expectations. So if you say, I want 60,000, well, being this specific actually puts yourself in a bit of a corner. They either match exactly what you want, and if they don't, well, they're kind of winning. They're kind of disagreeing with you there. But if you can give a range, then you give them some space to work with. You say, I'm a reasonable person. I will accept anything in this range here. Instead of saying really specifically, meet me here or nowhere else, you get to be far more diplomatic. So instead of saying, I'd like 60,000, try saying 50,000 to 70,000 maybe, or maybe 55,000 to 65,000. So that's our first tip, to give a range. Our second tip, still in that idea of giving a range, is to use odd numbers. I said a moment ago, maybe 55 to 65,000. The thing about this is it doesn't really sound like you've given it a lot of thought. So if we use some really specific numbers, and we use odd numbers, not those nice round 50, 55,000 numbers, then we can sound like we've really thought about this. So let's take that example, 50 to 60,000, 55 to 65,000, and let's improve it. I think the range of salary that I'm looking at is 55,250 to 65,750. By using odd numbers in your range, this sounds like you've really thought about it. You've really given a lot of time to considering this number, and it sounds like it's based on really solid research, even if it's not. If you say, yeah, 50 to 60,000, it sounds like you've just made that number up. But if you say, yeah, 50,250 to 60,390, that sounds like you've really based that on something. Don't forget that my full-time job is helping international professionals to improve their communication skills in English at work. I've worked with over 1,000 professionals, from new graduates all the way up to C-suite executives and government leaders. And if you would like to book some of my time, then you can go to the link just down in the description and you can find out more about that. Also, I sometimes have special offers and discounts on my time, on how much I charge for my time, and entering your email address over on the website there is the best way to be the first to find out when those limited time offers are available. Our third tip here is to aim high. So let's say that you really want 60,000. That's the number that you want. Well, we wouldn't want to put this near the top of your range. We'd want to put it near the bottom. You're being really reasonable. You are giving a range of options. So the right thing to do for them is to come somewhere inside that range. Let's put what you actually want near the bottom of that. So again, let's say that your goal is around 60,000. We could say something like, The salary I would be looking for is somewhere between 58,250 and 66,780. So what have we done so far? We've given a range, so we've given them some space to work. We've been really specific with our numbers so that it sounds like we've based this on research and not just invented these numbers. And also, we've made sure that the number that we actually want is near the bottom of this range. So even if they come in right at the bottom, then we're getting what we want. The next tip here is a piece of vocabulary. This is a really powerful and strong piece of vocabulary, and this is fair. One thing that Chris Voss talks about in the book Never Split the Difference is how powerful the word fair is, because we like to think that we are being fair with the things that we are offering. If someone suggests that something would be fair, well, hey, I think I'm a fair person. I want to aim to achieve that thing that makes me fair. And what we don't want to do is be accused of being unfair. As human beings, we like fairness. We like to be fair. So let's see if we can use this word in our response to that question. Let's look at a couple of answers to this question. A couple of answers that you might give in a job interview when asked, what kind of salary are you expecting from this role? What are your salary expectations? I've researched other similar roles, and I think that somewhere in the ballpark of 67,550 to 78,300 is fair. I've researched other similar roles, and I think that somewhere in the ballpark of 67,550 to 78,300 is fair. How about this one? I'm happy to haggle in the range of 38,300 to 46,400, which I think is a fair range given the experience that I bring to the table. I'm happy to haggle in the range of 38,300 to 46,400, which I think is a fair range given the experience that I bring to the table. Based on the market value for my position, I would expect my compensation to be in the range of 42,100 to 49,300. And I think that would be more than fair. Based on the market value for my position, I would expect my compensation to be in the range of 42,100 to 49,300. And I think that would be more than fair. So let's take a quick look at a piece of vocabulary in there. And I want to talk about ballpark numbers. In the first example, we heard, what did we hear? In the ballpark, somewhere in the ballpark of 67,550 to 78,300. A ballpark number asks us to think of this, which is where you play baseball. You play baseball in a ballpark, in this very big space. So a ballpark number or a ballpark figure is a very rough or approximate number. It's not exact. It's not precise. If I give you a ballpark number, well, maybe it's not exact. Maybe it's a slightly different number that we'll agree on, but we can especially use this to talk about ranges. So ballpark is a really great word to include in your salary negotiations. Don't forget that my full-time job is helping international professionals to improve their communication skills in English at work. I've worked with over 1,000 professionals, from new graduates all the way up to C-suite executives and government leaders. And if you would like to book some of my time, then you can go to the link just down in the description and you can find out more about that. If you have already negotiated your salary and you've already got your new job, then maybe you'd like to hear some vocabulary and maybe some tips about starting a new job. Some phrases and English vocabulary that you can use in that situation. I've got a video all about that. I'll link that up here, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot, everyone. Talk soon.